Well, President Trump just announced a few minutes ago on Truth Social he has given them approval to start building nuclear-powered submarines. The South Koreans had argued if they have that kind of submarine, there will be less for the United States Navy to do in the waters off the Korean Peninsula.
In the shadow of the demilitarized zone that bisects the Korean Peninsula, where echoes of artillery fire still linger from decades of uneasy truce, President Donald Trump stepped into the spotlight on October 29, 2025. It was a moment that rippled across the Pacific like a seismic wave, reshaping alliances and rattling the fragile architecture of global non-proliferation. Flanked by South Korean President Lee Jae-myung during a high-stakes summit in Seoul, Trump unveiled a bold pivot in American foreign policy. The United States would share its closely guarded nuclear propulsion technology with South Korea, paving the way for the ally to construct its first nuclear-powered submarine. This was not merely a technical handover, it was a declaration of deepened trust, born from the fires of regional threats and the cold calculus of deterrence. As Trump put it in his blunt style, South Korea is a serious partner, and they're going to build this beauty right here in Philadelphia. Jobs for America, strength for the free world. The announcement, delivered amid negotiators hashing out trade pacts, sent shockwaves through Washington, Beijing, and Pyongyang, igniting debates from shipyards to the United Nations. To grasp the gravity of this decision, one must rewind to the secretive world of nuclear submarine technology, where innovation and isolation have long danced in tandem. Since the dawn of the atomic age, the U.S. has treated nuclear propulsion systems, the beating heart that allows submarines to prowl silently for months underwater, as one of its crown jewels. This technology harnesses the immense energy of nuclear fission to drive vessels without frequent surfacing and has been exported sparingly. Only a handful of nations possess it: the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, China, and, more recently, Australia, through the AUKUS Pact sealed in 2021. Others have clamored at the gates, but barriers, technical, political, and under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, have held firm. Trump's reversal marks a seismic fracture in that exclusivity. South Korea, long reliant on diesel-electric subs that must surface like weary divers, will now join this elite cadre, with the first vessels slated for construction at the historic Philadelphia Navy Yard. Hanwha Ocean, the South Korean shipbuilder at the helm, has pledged billions in investments to revive American shipbuilding infrastructure, creating thousands of jobs in Rust Belt communities scarred by deindustrialization. It is a quid pro quo wrapped in strategic steel. Seoul commits to purchasing vast quantities of U.S. liquefied natural gas and oil, bolstering energy security while easing trade frictions that simmered since Trump's first term. Beneath the economic gloss lies a darker undercurrent, forged in the crucible of Indo-Pacific tensions. North Korea's relentless march toward nuclear parity, evidenced by its 2024 unveiling of a purported nuclear-powered attack submarine, has cast a long shadow over Seoul's defense planners. Kim Jong-un's regime has conducted over 100 missile tests in the past year alone, many arcing provocatively over Japanese airspace, while China's naval expansion in the South China Sea has turned vital sea lanes into flashpoints. South Korean officials, speaking anonymously, emphasized that these submarines would be armed conventionally with torpedoes and cruise missiles rather than nuclear warheads to assuage proliferation fears. This is about endurance and stealth, not escalation, one Defense Ministry source confided, evoking visions of silent hunters slipping through the Tsushima Strait to monitor adversarial fleets. President Lee, in a joint presser, hailed the deal as a milestone in our ironclad alliance, crediting Trump's willingness to cut through bureaucracy for the breakthrough. Whispers in diplomatic circles suggest the timing is no coincidence, with Trump's Asia tour coinciding with Beijing's naval exercises near Taiwan. The sub-deal serves as a tangible counterweight, signaling to Xi Jinping that America's commitments to its allies are not mere words. As applause faded in Seoul, Trump's digital megaphone, Truth Social, lit up with a parallel thunderbolt that dwarfed the submarine revelation. In a post time-stamped minutes before his departure for Busan, where he would convene with China's leader, Trump directed the Pentagon to immediately resume full-scale nuclear weapons testing. It evoked the ghosts of the Cold War, shattering a 33-year moratorium imposed by President George H.W. Bush in 1992. Just as the Soviet Union crumbled, Russia and China are testing while we play catch-up with computers and simulations, Trump fumed. accusing adversaries of covert detonations that undermine U.S. superiority. Time to get even on an equal basis. Boom. The directive, issued without congressional consultation, bypassed arms control protocols, including the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty that the U.S. has signed but never ratified. The implications unfurl like a mushroom cloud over the Nevada test site, where the U.S. last detonated a nuclear device in 1992's Divider Shot, a 20-kiloton blast that sealed an era. Since then, America has leaned on computer models, subcritical experiments, and hydrodynamic tests to certify its arsenal of roughly 3,700 warheads. These methods have kept the stockpile reliable without the environmental fallout of live blasts. Radioactive plumes that once dusted communities with strontium-90 and ignited cancers in veterans. Trump's order revives the specter of those detonations, potentially at the Nevada National Security Site or Pacific Atolls, scarred by Operation Dominic in the 1960s. Daryl Kimball, executive director of the Arms Control Association, decried it as misinformed and reckless, warning that resuming tests could unravel the global taboo, spurring India, Pakistan, and others to follow suit. In Moscow, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov parried, "Our tests are defensive. If America blinks first, we'll respond in kind." Beijing issued a terse statement. Such provocations threaten the nuclear order. Supporters frame the resumption as pragmatic realpolitik, a recalibration in an era where Russia's hypersonic Avangard gliders and China's DF-41 ICBMs cast doubt on simulation-based deterrence. "We've been flying blind for decades," argued Frank Klutz, former head of the National Nuclear Security Administration. "Adversaries aren't bound by our restraint. Parity demands verification." Trump's gambit, timed before his XI summit, underscores a fortress America, unapologetic in projecting power. During Busan talks, where tariffs on Chinese goods dipped from 55% to 45% in a fragile détente, the testing order hung like an unspoken ultimatum. Progress on trade, but no illusions about resolve. Richard Haass, President Emeritus of the Council on Foreign Relations, likened it to a chess grandmaster sacrificing a pawn to control the center, aimed at Vladimir Putin's ambitions. Reactions cascaded globally with the speed of a hypersonic missile. In Seoul, the submarine accord drew bipartisan applause, with opposition leader Han Dong-hoon tweeting, "A shield for our seas, forged in alliance." Tokyo signaled quiet support, while Canberra watched warily for ripple effects on its own subfleet. Arms control advocates mobilized. The Union of Concerned Scientists launched a petition amassing 100,000 signatures by dawn, decrying a dangerous regression that could hike radiation risks and erode the 1963 Partial Test Ban Treaty. On X, hashtags like #NukeTestNo and Trump arms race trended, blending hawkish cheers. Finally, America leads again, with dovish laments from Sen. Bernie Sanders. "This isn't strength, it's suicide." As Trump boarded Air Force One, bound for Washington, the dual announcements crystallized a vision of American primacy unbound by yesteryear's hesitations. The submarine deal breathes life into alliances, tethering South Korea's ambitions to U.S. ingenuity and markets. The testing directive asserts verified might, compelling rivals to reckon with a superpower unwilling to atrophy in simulations. Yet questions linger like fallout in the wind. Will these moves deter aggression or provoke it? Does sharing technology fortify the free world or dilute its edge? In an age of drones and cyber shadows, can nuclear tests or silent subs secure peace? History offers no easy prophecies. The 1992 moratorium followed 1,054 U.S. tests, a legacy of scarred atolls and uneasy consciences that birthed the anti-nuclear ethos. Trump's era evokes Reagan's Star Wars gambit, a bluff-turned buildup that hastened the US's end, but risks a multipolar maelstrom where China and Russia outpace in audacity. Environmentalists point to the Marshall Islands lawsuits for Cold War contamination, a reminder that deterrence's debris endures. Economists tally windfalls. Philadelphia's yards could hum with 5,000 workers, injecting $2 billion annually into the local economy. These pronouncements from October 29 are threads in a tapestry of transformation woven amid 2025's geopolitical tempests. North Korea's submarines lurk in Sinpo. China's carrier groups prowl the East China Sea. Russia's silos bristle with Poseidon torpedoes. Trump's responses: tech transfer and test resumption. Bet on asymmetry. Arm allies. Certify your arsenal with fire. Critics decry a slide toward arms race oblivion. Champions see salvation in unyielding strength. As the world holds its breath, one truth endures. In the nuclear shadows, hesitation is the true vulnerability. Philadelphia welders will arc their torches, Nevada drills will bore anew, and the Indo-Pacific will watch, wondering if this is the dawn of deterrence renewed or the dusk of restraint forsaken.